For more on this story, we're joined by Peter ZALMAYEV. He's director at the Eurasian Democracy Initiative. Thanks for joining us here on France 24. So what is Putin trying to accomplish by calling for this ceasefire? And do you think it will be successful from a strategic point of view?
Well, just like your correspondent said, I think she put it quite perceptively that Vladimir Putin is trying to win, at least temporarily, win this narrative after a string of losses in Ukraine, after a really bad public kind of relations disaster that this whole war in Ukraine has been. He's trying to sort of propose this narrative of Russia as the main peacemaker, which Ukrainians are obviously not buying. We have the president of Russia reneging time after time on its offers of ceasefire back in 2014 and 15. And so right now, I'll just cite you a personal example. An hour ago, I was interviewed on Al Jazeera Arabic. And the other speaker was a Russian propaganda hack. Let's put it bluntly. He went on this tirade saying that the Russians are the true keepers of the Orthodox faith. And they're with all of the body of Christian believers and Ukrainians. If they don't take this offer, they will be standing against all of us Ukrainians. My retort to that was, well, it's great that you remembered you were Christians. Where were you? Were you Christians when you were killing and murdering Bucha and you were destroying Ukrainian cities like Mariupol? So obviously a very sad and pathetic spectacle, Vladimir Putin cajoling and at the same time manipulating and at the same time threatening. Because while he's offering this ceasefire, Medvedev, the former president, has issued an ultimatum to the West saying essentially, we will destroy you if you keep supporting Ukraine, which is a Nazi regime. So this is a multi-pronged game, but don't be fooled by what Vladimir Putin is saying. And let me just add very quickly, Ukrainians, a larger portion than ever, Ukrainians celebrated Christmas on the 25th of December with the rest of Europe. So Russians are really going to be alone with this holiday, which fewer and fewer Ukrainians will recognize as their holiday.
An advisor to Ukraine's Minister of Internal Affairs said that Putin's ceasefire order represents a sign that Putin and his army are getting weaker. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. I mean, judging by the sort of pattern of missile launches at Ukraine and the increasing reliance on Iranian drones, which are also increasingly ineffective, as Ukrainians have learned to shoot them almost with 100% in some cases rate. So Vladimir Putin is really, in effect, begging for some time to try to come up with some sort of viable strategy as to how to proceed in Ukraine. So there's a serious, supposition on our part that Putin is not being able to produce as many long-range missiles as he's been wasting in Ukraine. And so now they're seriously talking about a second mobilization and mobilize several 100,000 of Russians. And the big question hangs over the army. How are you going to equip them? How are you going to send them into battle? With which clothing? Russia is really at a dead end with this war, it seems to me.